Hey guys, so I've been up here at this camp for, I would say, about 30 minutes now, and we haven't seen the name spawn once yet. So he's just being elusive tonight, but I wanted to pop back on and let you guys know that I haven't forgotten. I'll go ahead and show him to you as soon as he does, if he does tonight. Sometimes you could have really bad luck and be sitting there and camping the guy over and over and over again all night long, waiting for him to spawn, and all you get is his placeholders, and then the moment you leave, boom, he's up. Or sometimes you'll show up, you know, with another group to do something, and you'll see that he's up, and it's just like, what are the chances? You know, you sit there all day long, and the one time you run away or just happen to be passing by is when he spawns. So we just have some bad luck tonight is all. Let's see, maybe I can pull these guys over here. Kind of a long pull. Now the benefit to this zone is that it's an outside zone. Now when you're doing these body pulls, you got to be very, very careful because they will attack whoever they see. There we go. And I didn't want her to die just because I was pulling from another area. Get this. There we go. Get this one as well. As I said before, it's always a good idea not to sit where things spawn. As you saw right there, that's exactly what I was referring to, where you could just have bad timing and the creature spawn right on top of you as you had 2 or 3 other pulls. And if we weren't killing this fast, we'd have another ad. And see another one. So yeah, this could turn very, very ugly very quickly if you guys, you know, aren't kind of careful, especially later on when the game gets much, much more difficult when killing creatures. And the fights take a lot longer. And if one of these happened to be a named, oh, then you would be in serious trouble. Probably pretty good on my health. Let's see if I can pull some of these guys. Take a little bit of a hit when you fall down, so try not to do it if you don't have to. It gets me. I remember with these body pulls, you literally have no aggro other than the fact that you were right next to him. So the moment you get up here, if you don't do a taunt or a hit, and somebody strikes him or gives you a heal, he'll jump off of you and hit the healer or the caster or whatever the case may be. So if you can, try to make sure you're very quick with that taunt. Otherwise things can go pretty bad very quickly. Toss another heal on me. And I'll go get that other one before somebody else pulls it, because this entire area is camped tonight. Even the entrance was being camped, so I mean it's a lot of people on. And a lot of people from apparently travel across the continents to get here. I see a lot of evil people, a lot of Iskars. I mean that's a long way to travel at this low level to get to Crushbone, so. I can never imagine trying a 6-box a game. For those of you who are not familiar with that, it's basically having multiple accounts and multiple screens open to the extent that one person is playing 6 characters. In the old days, you'd have to have like 2 different computers do it, and now that they have it where it can be windowized for the game, you can literally have 6 little tiny windows on your big screen and you know, be playing all 6 of them. Now you're going to use a lot of macros so that you can kind of just hit a button and your character would run through the motions. Now, you're not going to be anywhere near as fast as casting and healing and stunning and mezzing as if you had 6 individual people playing each one of those classes. But, you know, as long as you don't get into too deep and, you know, you're using your macros efficiently, you can pretty much hunt anywhere you want, other than maybe big raid, you know, tier areas. You can't do that by yourself. It's just not possible. At least as far as I know. Maybe somebody out there has done it, but it's going to be incredibly difficult, if at all possible. I don't know what he wants me to be careful of. Maybe the spawn. It's going to repop here in a minute. It's a good idea to keep an eye on your timers, if you're keeping any. It's sensating. So he's just sitting there clicking the button for sensating to work it up. Which is nice. You're going to need it eventually. If you get lost in a zone that's huge, you're going to want to know what direction you're going in. But that's usually because you've been there before and you know what direction, you know, or what wall the entrance to whatever zone you're looking for is. I haven't bound mine to anything yet. So even they're saying it's always a good idea to bring that skill up as much as possible. If you're a druid or a ranger, I believe rangers get forging. That's a good idea to work on that as well, because I believe your epic requires that you forge in several different locations, and it's hard enough to get the item you're looking for without worrying about the skill than it is just to have to sit there and work on your skill at the same time. That would just be really, really time consuming, and preferably if you can do it, and you get food and stuff out of it too, so it's kind of nice that you can just do it whenever you want. And some of those items sell for quite a bit, because in every zone there's certain items that you can forge, and they're only found in those zones. So you'd actually have to sit there in those zones and hunt, or literally just sit there and click the button over and over again. So there are some zones that a lot of people don't go to. Let's see. 2 evens. 1 blue. Or no, 1 blue. Okay, let's do this one. It's always a good idea to check with your group before you do a big pull. They may have different ideas. Let me go down there and mez. Let me go down there and pacify. He's gonna go ahead and root. There we go. So he went ahead and assisted me apparently and rooted the one I had to target on, which is fine. You just got to be ready to switch targets, because again, people are relying on you to assist. Because of that root, he's aggroed to him, so just be prepared for that, especially for like mez. Before you break mez, you definitely want to make sure you hit the taunt button a few times before you attack. Otherwise, all the aggro will go towards the enchanter because he mezzed. So that's a little tidbit that you may not be aware of. So just sit there, and they'll all wait for you to do the first attack. If it's that's good to be praised for not messing up, as I was doing earlier. But later on in groups, they'll sit there and wait for you. Okay, they got another one. It's probably already going to be dead by the time I get to it. That was quick. And you see what I mean about the tank just never sits still, which is very enjoyable if you are switching back and forth between, say, like a cleric or a caster who just sits there the entire group. You don't really get to go off and see the zone. Like sometimes, I remember in Seb, if all I ever played was my cleric, the only thing I would ever saw in that zone would be like 3 rooms, minus the amount of pathing that I would have to work my way down to those rooms. But once you're in there, that's it. You never leave that room. You let the tank pull it all to you, and he's constantly pulling over and over and over again. But you just never get to see any of that, so it kind of sucks. You know, you're missing out on a lot of cool-looking rooms. You're missing out on knowing how to break those rooms and how to pull them best as possible. And it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's a lot of enjoyment because you're experiencing more of the game than say somebody else who doesn't pull, never leaves that room. Of course, it's kind of nice to sit back and chill, especially after a long day's work, and not have to run around the entire zone all the time. And as a puller, you can't really talk very easy either, because you can't go around corners and then pull, jump over hidden traps and things of that sort very easy. You know, it's not very advantageous to communication. It can be done, and that's how I learned how actually to type. I sucked. I was one of those one-finger keyboard typers, and there's nothing wrong with those. It's very, very slow, and for a game like this, you don't really want to have you know, that kind of typing skill. But that's how I started off, and I actually learned how to type with my you know, both hands, and now I can do like 120 words a minute, and just from Everquest. So it does build skill, because you kind of have to force yourself to learn how to type faster, because you have just seconds, you know, in between you putting auto run on, and there's 23 people in the zone. Seems like almost everything's on the same timer. Every time I find somebody down there, it seems like these guys are respawning, and still about 40 minutes in and still no named. I'm not lying to you guys, he does spawn here. It's just having some issues bringing him out tonight. I don't know why he was dragging that corpse up there. I don't remember what. I think it's 29, right? Is the earliest that clerics get theirs. He's lagging. I'm not getting any lag tonight. Guess it could depend on his connection as well. Now, if this zone wasn't so camped, I'd be pulling from all the way on the other side like I used to do for Guck. I would pull the light side all the way to the dark side, go down every single room. And that kind of sucked too, because if people were camped in those rooms along the way, all the way down to like the Yutski or the King room and stuff like that, the people you pulled will get attacked. Will attack those guys that you pass by. You know, they're steal the aggro away from you. And I remember that I did one pull, and I accidentally trained the group, but the group was happy and sent me a message saying thank you, because it was free experience and free loot, because I pulled from the other side, and I got a pretty good reputation at the time for being a really good puller, from just being able to do that on a regular basis. Let me grab this guy as well. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the challenge of doing really long pulls, and you had to jump over hidden secret spots and traps and go around corners just the right way, otherwise you just wouldn't make it. See, there's a train in the background going to the zone. You should always have a hotkey to do /shout train and do, you know, choo-choo or something like that on the end. So if you do get in situations like that, you don't want to have to stop. You're running, you know, when there's a huge mob of creatures after you, to say train to zone. And yet if you don't do that, people will get very mad, because sometimes they'll have no warning that it's coming and they'll die. And it's just a polite thing to do to let people know. So let's go back down, grab some more guys. Yeah, wait a second. Now, when they're doing this, you could actually pull a few of them off. You can see the emissaries in there. Or you could use the paving to your advantage. My favorite part of the game. It's still crazy. And as you guys know who watched my my Necro videos, I was just over in East Commons, and it is still going very strong. Lots of groups. So apparently the trading isn't just in East Commons, they also have it in other places as well. Let's go here and snag this one if we can. He has some problems going on with his guild, so he's gonna run. It kind of sucks that they're pulling him away from this kind of experience, but it should be spawning up here fairly soon too, so. Oh, we got one there. It's a nice little chunk of life falling from that little distance. As you can see, it actually gives you a few seconds so that the cleric could possibly throw a heal on you, but then again, he would still aggro the very first moment it got up here, so you do want to be careful again. Of course, it would help if I was actually clicked on the guy. Here we go. 2 evens, 1 green. So even better than before. In the sense that it won't kill me to get up there. And it looks like they're killing something, so I probably should have asked. But we'll see. Especially since our buffs are wearing off. Left this guy there. Might actually be able to just kill him myself. As I said before, if you leave him there, nothing bigger will spawn. You won't get more experience from some of these other guys, so you do want to kill them off if experience is what you're going for. Crap. This guy's down. Try to get it off of him. There we go. I'll let them heal up a little bit. There's no rush. There's nothing really down there anyways at this moment. And we got repop anyways. So if you guys want to see longer videos or shorter videos, what kind of videos do you guys like? I'd be happy to shoot whatever you want. If you want straight to the point videos that show each one of the camps in under 5 minutes with the items that it drops, I'll do that. If you guys want to see 2-3 hour game footage of just sitting in camping and hanging out and chatting, you know, and listening to the game without always having to hear my voice over it, then I'll do that as well. So be sure, depending on whatever you like, put it down in the comments below. I'll try to do a little mix of all of it so that you guys are all getting what you want. For me, I'm happy just playing and recording, so as long as I get to play Everquest, I am perfectly fine. So I guess he gets to take off. Could get that guy. And her. Okay, I'll go ahead and pause the video here, guys.